Hi guys, Zach here with Command & Conquer Red Alert video. In this game I'm playing a free-for-all match on the map All That Glitters. I'm starting in the top right position, playing as the Soviets. Now, as most of you all know, this map is covered in ore, so it's quite a... You get quite a lot of big tank battles in this map, and there's also Tesla plays quite a big role as well, and you'll usually find that nearly all players are Soviets on this map. You now and again get an allied play. I mean, the only advantage allied players have, I guess, is that they can build tech centres, which gives them a satellite. And they can also do rushes, but if you rush as an allied player, it just puts you in such a bad position later. So yeah, you might take one opponent out, but then you're going to be weaker for the rest of the game. And now I'm just getting some scouts out, just to have a look at what is around me. I do have to be quite careful at the start, because it's like, you tend to get people building a lot of ore trucks on this map, but sometimes you can occasionally get attacked, and there you can see some infantry trying to get into my base, but I have got the entrance points blocked off. And I'm starting in quite a good position because I'm in the top right. It's always much better to start in a corner, of course, because then other infantry's got through there, but he hasn't got too far. I think there may have been a little group of them together. Anyway, as I was saying, the corners are much better because then you don't end up in the middle of two teams, because I think there'll be one team in each corner, and then there'll be two players, usually one in the middle right and one in the middle left. So what we need to make sure is we take the middle players out quite quickly, because it's better to like clear them our side, otherwise it puts us in a difficult situation later on in the game. And what I'm trying to do now is I'm trying to clear some more so I can start placing my ore refineries down. So yeah, you can just see, because space is like quite a big issue on this map, because as you can see it's like covered in ore and the starting position only has a little bit of space. So that's kind of an issue, so you need to like try and really use those ore trucks at the start just to clear up that ore and just give you room to place your future buildings. And that's another reason why you might want to start with building a lot of ore trucks early on, just so we can clear this ore, get some more space and be able to place down our ore refineries. And as you can see, I missed a spot there, so that's just going to delay that ore refinery placement. Of course, speed is really, really important in Red Alert. The faster you can get these ore refineries and buildings down, the faster you can get on more war factories, and the faster you're going to produce tanks and take out your opponents. Every map is, like any RTS, I guess, is about speed and being able to build up a big army as quickly as possible, and also using your units sensibly as well. So yeah, we're just trying to place it, and you can see again, there's that just, it seems like there's just always going to be one patch of ore that's blocking things. And now what I'm doing is I'm building another war factory, so I'm going to be getting my fourth war factory out. And the reason war factories are so important to get multiple ones is because it increases your building speed of tanks, and that is going to be very, very important. And usually what I tend to do is I tend to go for 4 war factories and then go on the attack. So you can see I've got my 4th war factory there. What I am going to do though is I'm going to build a couple of ore trucks at the same time, and just to keep my economy going, make sure it's in a good position. But now I'm going to be going for yellow, who are in the middle right position. So let's see how this goes. They don't look to have like a massive army at the moment, so we'll try and take them out. And you can see they've got like a few tanks there, but I do have a great production going at the moment. Let's see how this goes. You can see those yellow tanks being taken out quite quickly. It looks like we're going to be able to push into the base, and I don't think this is going to go well for yellow. It looks like we're going to be able to break through and get into the base. They might have gone for multi-MCV a little early. Sometimes I tend to like leave the multi-MCV until I've taken out the first opponent and got a little bit more space. But you can see we've been able to take out some of the ore refineries, and we're just pushing further and further into my base. And they're at home, just unblocking my ore trucks because they were in a bit of a bad position there. Let's take out that Tesla coil. And yeah, it doesn't look like yellow has built up that much. I think they might have gone for an early extra MCV. And the only problem is that it does create problems like with the speed you can build things. And now we're going into their base. And we're going to take out that construction yard and some of the other buildings. You can see they've got some war factories there, so we'll just get them out. You can see fighting to the very last tank, but we've got that war factory out, and now we'll get this war factory. And actually, they're out of the game. I thought it was possible I had an extra MCV somewhere there, and now I'm getting my service depot down, and that's so I can start building extra MCVs. I've got myself a little bit of space in the middle right, so I am going to use that space, because you can see my base is a little bit crowded. It's got like lots of, obviously got lots of ore refineries there, but there's lots of little bits of ore here and there. That would make it a nightmare to be placing MCVs. And I also want to keep sort of like that space open, because I've got a lot of ore trucks collecting, and MCVs will sort of block the routes and could cause blockages. And you can see me building my next ore refinery. Now, the reason we want to build extra MCVs is because every time you place an MCV and deploy it as a construction yard, then you get faster building speed. And that faster building speed means we can build structures more quickly, we can build our economy quicker, and then we can get more tanks out later on in the game. So it's very, very important. We also might want to build some Tesla coils as well, which becomes a very viable option when you do have a lot of MCVs. So we're just going to be placing them down, and you can see we're getting an extra ore refinery there. And I'm going to start placing some ore refineries in the middle of the map also. One of the really important things we need to do in this map is gain lots of control. And you can see my ore situation is going fairly well at the moment. I might place these two MCVs further up in my base. Sometimes I don't know why I placed that there. That was a bit stupid. I'll place it a bit further to the left. But the reason you want the MCV spread out a little bit is because if you do undergo a big attack, then at least, yeah, all the MCVs won't be destroyed if they do an attack in the middle right, and I lose all that. And I'm also going to place a radar dome, even though I haven't got that much map vision, but I can see that Cyan is in the top left-hand corner. So we'll have to keep an eye out for them. They do have an airfield, but I think that's not to use MiGs. I think it was more just to get spy planes so they can see different parts of the map. And I might get it in a bit, but at the moment I'm focused on placing those ore refineries so I can build up a really strong economy. And you can see it's going well at the moment. I'm able to build another war factory, and that's going to be 5 war factories out now, which is going to give me a really good building speed at this point in time. And that's just the thing, once you have more... Yeah, I'll have to redirect that ore truck. You have to be careful actually sometimes about redirecting ore trucks. And we can see the blue is in the top middle. So we're going to have to try and fight in the middle of the map here. And you can see I have got quite a great number of tanks. And I'm just having a bit of a look here because I'm just wondering about Cyan as well, whether he's going to go for the attack. But I think blue's going to be the problem player here. So I'm just having a bit of a look around. And the thing is, I just don't want to get in a fight too quickly. Sometimes I want to hold back a little bit. And we can see the blue is attacking Cyan in the top left-hand corner. I'm just getting a large power plant there. Got a bit low on power. I obviously don't want that because it's going to slow my building speed. And also, my radar dome won't be showing. So I've just placed a few large power plants. You just have to... Obviously, there's always that space thing. And now I'm going to be getting my 6th war factory, so that building speed is going to be mighty quick. And we can also see that blue is also below me, so it just looks like blue has a large section of the map. So I think now is the time to go and attack. Let's see what we can do against blue. We can see he's got that little base there with some ore refineries, but he hasn't got anything protecting it at the moment. And it looks like we're going to be able to take out that quite easily. I don't know if I saw some... Yeah, might have imagined it there. I thought I saw some MiGs, but now we're going for blue's base. And that's my 7th war factory out. Yeah, he does actually have MiGs. I didn't imagine it there. But he's not going to be able to do too much damage to my base because I've got just too much. I've got multiple MCVs, construction yards. I've got like 6 war factories. I've got loads of ore refineries, so I'm not too worried about them. But now we're going for the attack on blue. Let's see what we can do. He does have a Tesla coil there, which we just destroyed there. And we're just getting rid of these war factories and these tanks. And it does look like I have the bigger army at the moment. You can see I have an absolute mass of tanks. It doesn't look like blue has any answer for this at the moment. And now I'm going to go for that. You can see that Tesla coil there in a very sensible place. I'm just going to select some of these tanks. And there's a bit of a lag here, so that's why you're seeing a bit of delay on those tanks moving to go for that Tesla coil. And now we just try to take out all these buildings here so that he can't build any more Tesla coils close to my base. And you can see that Cyan is officially out. And now we're going to go for his main base here. I'm not sure if this is his main base or if he's like sort of expanded from the bottom left. I'm not quite sure at the moment. But now we're trying to take out blue. We've got his radar dome down. His construction yard looks like it's going down, and also those Tesla coils. So yeah, we're just taking out as many buildings as we can right at the moment, and that's put him in a hard position. But we can see that red is down in the bottom right hand corner. He's been very quiet this match, and we'll have to see how many tanks he has. And now I'm going to get yet another war factory. So I think that's about 8 war factories at the moment, something like that. And that's just how strong your economy can get on this map, when you've got ore refineries all over the place and loads of map control. And now you can see that blue is selling off. We've found his MiGs. And as I say, those MiGs weren't going to be too much of a nuisance to me. Having a bit of a lag there, just not being able to place my ore refinery. But we've been able to take out that bottom base of blue. So now I think he's confined to the bottom left-hand corner. But now we're going to have a look at red, because we can see that red's got some tanks there. And we're going to go for the attack here. Yeah, and red's like had a chance to build all match, so we'll see how many tanks he's got. And we're just putting our tanks in at the moment. And yeah, just having a bit of a problem placing buildings a little bit at the moment because of the lag. Yeah, and that's why my tanks are a bit slow in getting in. And my tanks seem to be in a bit of a bad spot at the moment. They've sort of entered a choke point, but there's nothing I can do at the moment. I can't select those ore trucks either, so we just have to wait for this to die out and some tanks to be eliminated from the map. We can see that red seems to be closing in. Seems to have a little bit more control than I have, because I literally can't do anything. But you can see those tank numbers getting whittled down, and as the tank numbers go down, I start to gain a little bit more control. So you can see I've lost some of that tank mass there, but now looks like I'm starting to gain the upper hand. I'm just trying to take out those bottom tanks first, and then I'm going to push to the right. And yeah, just trying to queue up those tanks again, because when you have 8 war factories, your tanks are built really, really quickly. And yeah, you can see some of my tanks entering the wrong way. And unfortunately, I'm not able to correct it at the moment. And you can see it's starting to sort of catch up a little bit now with the lag. What I'm going to do is I'm going to try and pull my tanks back for the minute. And now we can see that blue is in the top left-hand corner. So we do have to be careful about this, because if we give blue too much time, he's going to be able to rebuild. And he might have multiple MCVs. Well, I think he will have multiple MCVs in that bottom left-hand corner. So we do have to be careful. And you can see sort of like the time catching up with me there. So now our tanks are going into blue's base. And at this point, I think I had someone at the door, so I had to sort of like go and answer it while this fight was going on, which is why I'm not moving around, because I wasn't at the screen. But we can see at the radar dome, my tanks are fine, and they'll be doing a lot of damage to whatever blue's got. I don't think blue will have had time to build many tanks up at this point, so I don't have to worry too much. And you can see my economy is doing pretty solid at the moment. And we can see that red is now starting to do a little bit of a base crawl into the top right-hand corner. So yeah, he could do a little bit of damage there if he gets Tanya or something, maybe. I don't know if I had a Tesla coil there, actually. But now I was back at the screen, and you can see that blue has sold up in that top left-hand corner. It does look like he's... yeah, he's completely gone from there. And what I've decided to do is just try and eliminate him so he doesn't come back later in the game. And we can see some tanks there and some buildings. There's some more refineries, and we're going to take them out. And as soon as I start firing on them, he starts to sell them, I think. And I don't know whether he's just trying to stop me going to the right, to the bottom left of the map. But I'm going to do that and make sure he gets taken out. And you can see there's not many tanks there. There is a Tesla coil, but that's not going to really cause too much nuisance. And he's building another one, but he just doesn't have the tanks really at all. And when you've got like tanks in the masses I've got, the biggest problem is actually lag, rather than what Blue has at the moment. So we're able to take out one of those Tesla coils, and we'll try and take out the other one as well. Just get them down quite quickly and get down just any buildings really, and just eliminate Blue from the game. And you can see that Red is still expanding to the top right hand corner, so we'll have to see what he decides to do, and we'll have to get some units up there as soon as I've destroyed this base. And you can see my not building any tanks at the moment. But yeah, those construction yards going down, and every time we destroy a construction yard, that means his building speed is going to be slowed down. You can see he's got a few more Tesla coils down there, but obviously he's not going to be able to build them that much faster anymore. We'll go here, and you can see we've got his probably his starting construction yard maybe there. I don't know if he started in the middle left. I'm not quite sure. There might have been a play there earlier. And it looks like he's called good game, and Blue is officially out of the game. So now send him a tanks to Red, who's had a little bit of a base crawl to a patch where there's no ore. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and send my tanks down to the southern part of the map, where we can see a lot of ore trucks. And that's like a big mistake from Red, not keeping them protected. We're going to be able to get quite a good kill there. We can see now Tesla coils inside my base. And it'll probably be best if we try and deal with this right now. So I've got some tanks out. You can see though my ore funds aren't that great. I think that's because I've got so many war factories just producing tanks at the moment. And you can see my ore is running out near my base. So we've run out of ore on certain patches. So some of my ore trucks are having to long distance mine. But now we're going to try and get into the base here. You can see those Tesla coils still attacking my base. Though I've got an absolute ton of tanks down to the south of the map. And they're just getting a bit caught out by the power. So I'll just place some of those large power plants. I do have quite a fast building speed because I do have a lot of construction yards on the map. But it seems that Red has a decent speed as well. We have taken out quite a bit of his economy though. And you can see those Tesla coils doing a bit of damage as he places them. And yeah, he's definitely got quite a few MCVs because he's building them quite quickly. The only annoying thing about the Tesla coils is that you have to you have to manage them when they fire. So they don't just fire automatically unless it's other units. So when it's like structures like I've got there, and now we're going to go for the attack on Red. We can see that Red has got a layer of Tesla coils behind his tanks in the bottom of the map. So what we're going to do is we're going to try and take some of our tanks back up to the top. Just to try and deal with this actually, because he's still managing to build quite a few Tesla coils there. And yeah, I'm just having a think now. What I'm going to do is I'm going to start placing some more MCVs, some more construction yards, just so I have a really fast building speed. You can see my ore is starting to stack up once again. But that Tesla, he's got like just this Tesla coil mass there. So wherever I attack on the map, he's just going to build a ton of Tesla coils. So I do have to be careful. It makes it quite hard sometimes. Because if I rush my tanks in and I get a bit of lag, then I could lose quite large numbers. And you can see just having a little bit of an issue there to try and take them down. So I've got like a little idea actually. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to try and do a flame tower crawl. And let's see if this works. We're just taking our flame towers down. And actually we might not need our MCVs after all. Because this flame tower crawl seems to be working. And now we're going to go for those power plants. What we're trying to do is we're trying to make him lower power. And you can see Red's army going up to the top right of the map. But let's see if this works. We managed to take out a lot of power plants so far. And if we just keep on targeting the power plants, this could put red in a little bit of trouble. I guess if we manage to take out power plants as well, it's also going to slow his building speed if he gets low on power. So that's going to slow the building speed when he's trying to replace those large power plants. And you can see that we've taken out quite a few now. And we're just going to keep on going down to the bottom of his base. And now what I'm doing is I'm sending my tanks into the top right-hand corner because those Tesla coils seem to be offline. And you can see this there. We're just continuing his space crawl of flame towers into his base. And there's not much red can do at the moment. He is losing his army in the top right because I've got too many tanks there. And we're able to just take this. You can see he's trying to replace those large power plants, but I think I'll be able to destroy them faster than he can replace them. And therefore, he's just not going to be able to do much at this point. And you can see this is pretty much over. He's lost his army in the top. Yeah, he's selling off those Tesla coils because he knows he can't use them. And now we're just going for the main part of his base, taking out those power plants, taking out some of those major buildings, and he has quit the game. So that is good game, mission accomplished. So thank you for watching, hope you enjoyed the video.